What's new in CloudBees CI 2.401.1.3? On May 31st, 2023, CloudBees CI 2.401.1.3 was released. In this video, we'll talk about the highlights from that release. Also, on June 1st, I did a video with Mark Waite about what's new in Jenkins LTS 2.401.1. The link to that video is down in the description. If you've never taken a look at the release notes for CloudBees CI before, let me show you how to get there. We're going to start at docs.cloudbees.com. Under documentation, we'll go down to CloudBees CI. Then in the left nav, we'll click on the documentation dropdown and go to release notes. And this is the landing page for all of the release notes for versions of CloudBees CI. Now, one of the items I want to call out is this important section right here at the top. If you skip versions when you upgrade, refer to previous versions of the release notes for any relevant known issues or upgrade notes. So what does that mean? Well, in this case, we're going to be upgrading to 2.401.1.3. But let's assume for a moment that I'm currently running 2.375.3.4. In that case, I would need to go through and check the release notes for each version from the current version that I'm running all the way up to the version that I'm going to be upgrading to. That way I don't miss any important upgrade notes or, again, as it says, known issues that might affect me during the upgrade process. Now for this release, 2.401.1.3, the release notes for both the traditional platforms and modern cloud platforms are exactly the same. So we're only going to take a look at the release notes for traditional platforms in this video. Now you'll notice here at the very top, there was a change for configuration as code, and we'll get into the details of that. It's called out in big red because it's a very important thing. Well, what is that thing? If we click on full release notes for traditional platforms, what we'll see here at the very top of new features is the initial release of branch tag support for controller bundles. Now, this feature has actually already been out in preview, but in this release, it is now considered GA. But if you want to use the branch tag feature, you need to go through a migration process. And that big red box, which we'll see again in a few moments, is that indicator for that migration process. Now, also in this release is another new feature. CloudBees has now released a HashiCorp Vault plugin. There already is an open source version of the HashiCorp Vault plugin, but it's not one that CloudBees maintains. For this release, there's now an officially supported CloudBees HashiCorp Vault plugin. Now, the big difference between the CloudBees plugin and the open source plugin is that we're able to install this plugin on the Operations Center, and it will handle credentials just like any other credential within a CloudBees CI installation. One final thing is that the CloudBees plugin supports not only HashiCorp Vault, but also HashiCorp Vault Enterprise. So if you're running HashiCorp Vault or HashiCorp Vault Enterprise, you'll want to take a look at this plugin. Now, one more item that's under feature enhancements. You might consider this new, but it really is a feature enhancement. And what you now have the ability to do is to delete items from within configuration as code. This title says, enhance the remove strategy with the ability to delete items. So the remove strategy has always been there, but its strategy was always none, so you can never do a deletion. So this is why this is considered a feature enhancement and not a new feature, because remove strategy has always been around, but it really never did anything. It was just basically a placeholder for now, this day, to where you can delete items. There are numerous strategies that can be applied to remove strategy. You'll want to take a look at the documentation to understand how to use it. Now, the rest of the items for the release notes, there are a handful of resolved issues around configuration as code and a couple of other miscellaneous items, but I want to go back down to the big red box that we saw at the very beginning of the video. If you're going to be using the branch and tag feature for configuration as code, there is a migration process that you need to go through. You can click on the link for migrating bundles, and it will walk you through step by step what you need to do. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter at CloudBees. If this video was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to CloudBees TV yet, why not? Take a moment, click on that subscribe button, and then ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime there's new content available on CloudBees TV. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.